is no way that the Browns are good. Welcome back to another edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. Here it is Friday, the 18th of September, 2020. Exciting day today, a lot to go over. I'm joined alongside Gavin Tony, my co-host. Gavin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing better. Zach, that killed me. I keep forgetting that's the new intro. We're gonna keep doing that. But I liked it. It's funny. I'm doing good. Voice may not sound perfect today, but hey, I'm getting better. And how the hell did the Browns win yesterday? That's the real question. Zach, I'm doing great though. How about you?
I'm doing good. I noticed you're back in your regular location, or I guess your newer location, I should say. It's gonna be exciting, man. We got one more show today. I don't even know, what's week 15 now, I think, something like that. I'll have to count it up, but a lot of exciting stuff continuing to go on here on the show. We got a lot to go over today. All four major sports. The Phillies we got to touch on at some point because it's really bad right now. We'll cover all that in a little bit. But Gavin, let's start today's show off with the Browns easily beating the Bengals yesterday. The first half it looked like so-so, but it became an easy win for them. Odell Beckham had a good night. Baker Mayfield looked good, I'd say. Nick Chubb looked fantastic. Kareem Hunt looked great. Joe Mixon looked Burrow threw 61 pass attempts. That's an interesting thing to have your rookie quarterback do. It questions the coaching, which I've been questioning since last year. But Gavin, what's your breakdown from Thursday Night Football?
We're gonna sit here. Excuse me. We're gonna sit here and talk about how good Baker Mayfield looked. Come on now. All right, he threw what? 2 touchdown passes, 2 of them, one to a running back, one to OBJ. That's right, 2, right? What was it? Joe Burrow threw 3 of them. 3 of those bad boys. Good for him. 61 times. I don't know if I like that, Zach, but he broke a record, 37 completions, most for ever a rookie. Let's cut the crap, Zach. Let's stop acting like this guy Baker Mayfield is good. They ran the ball last night. They ran the ball. They took the ball out of Baker's hands a lot last night. Zach, he only threw the ball 23 times. 23 times. Joe Burrow's completion had more than everything he did. 23 times. That's nothing. So, Zach, and if it wasn't for Nick Chubb running the ball and bad Bengals defense can't stop the run game for anything, I don't think there'd be winners today. And once again, Joe Burrow lost by 5 points.
No doubt. I do have to say this, though. That 5 points at the end of the game with a touchdown. They tried to get an onside kick. But you're right, Gavin. You make a lot of good points there. I'm not going to sit here and say the Browns are going to make the playoffs right now. But I'm going to say today they're better than I thought they were yesterday. They lived up to the talent a lot last night. And here's why. If you're a Browns fan or if you're interested in the story of this team, you should be happy today because you now have the framework for what works. Gavin, I saw a lot of the Minnesota Vikings offense last night. Heavy run, play action, rolling out and throwing the ball. Mayfield obviously is not as big of a quarterback as Kirk Cousins, so he doesn't throw it as deep. But it's there, Gavin. What they need to do to succeed is there. And the play action, Gavin, they had 4 straight plays. 3 of them were play action. The 4th one was a standard drop back pass. Ain't none of them on the first 4 plays of the game were runs, and the play action worked. You got Mayfield on his feet. He's moving around, keeping the offense fluid. They were consistent all game. Is Baker Mayfield the first overall pick Heisman Trophy winner that we expect him to be? No. He had a pretty bad interception last night, if you ask me. He did not read the zone coverage well at all. But that's what happens when the O-line is doing better. You have less penalties right now. They look like a much better disciplined team than they were last year. They got smacked by the Bengals in the last week of the season last year, Gavin. They looked really good last night. Nick Chubb looked really good last night. But Baker Mayfield did do his job. That's all he's got to do. For the Browns to win games, all Baker Mayfield has to do is do his job and not hurt the team. He did that last night. Without a doubt, he has a ceiling right now of a Kirk Cousins, possibly a little better. But I don't think that he's still a great quarterback. I think he talks too much. I think he can't back it up sometimes. He looked like a really good teammate last night, picking up guys when they were hurt, going around all his bench. It's easy to do that when you're winning. Let him do it when he's losing. But I'm going to sit here today and I'm going to go out on a note like this. I think for sure the Browns can easily make the playoffs. They got to do the basics right. Kevin Stefanski's the right coach for that team. At this point, you figure out if Baker's the issue or not. I'm confident after what I saw last night, but you got to be consistent. He's got a lot of tough teams in his division. 2 of them have the best defenses in the league, so we'll have to see what happens.
Well, Zach, you're not wrong. And excuse me. As all of the credit should go to Kevin Stefanski. Can't say his name yet, Zach, but He did a great job getting Baker outside the pocket, moving him. And for those making a big deal about Baker Mayfield today, he gave the ball to OBJ. About time. About damn time you did that. Is that what you want, round of applause? About damn time. Congratulations. All right, but that doesn't make you the best quarterback. And Zach, you're right. He talks too much. He doesn't back it up half the time. I think you're right. Stephen A. Smith, ESPN, analyst, he said it best, Zach, and I'll reiterate it. He has more commercials than wins.
He got caught up in the moment. He said last year, I got to humble myself. We're going to see what happens. But overall, Bengals lose to the Browns. Joe Burrow still looks good. The Bengals have hope. The Browns maybe have hope. You saw last night what they got to do to win. Let's see if they can keep it up.
You got to protect Joe Burrow. He got hit a lot last night.
Without a doubt. But coming up now here, the Lightning last night finally win the series in 6, and they advance to the NHL Stanley Cup Final. They'll face the Dallas Stars. That series will start, I think, this weekend or possibly Monday. Gavin, what are some of your takeaways from this?
Well, first of all, that was a good game. Overtime. Won them in overtime. First of all, let's give the New York Islanders credit. I have to because they beat the Flyers and they got 2 games versus the Lightning. Zach, this Lightning team is better than the Islanders. And this Dallas Stars team is going to be really good next round as well. Both teams are really good in their respective conferences. And for the Lightning and the Stars to match up, it's going to be a great one. I got the Lightning winning in 6. It could go to 7. But, Zach, there's no shortage of hockey play around for either one of these teams. And that was great series for both sides, for respective conferences. But to go back to the Islanders series and the Lightning, it just felt like pure dominance from the start. And the Islanders obviously came back at some point and made it a series. But I think it was already over from the jump.
Remember, the Lightning got swept last year in the first round. Are they mad or what? And now they're going to go out there. They have an opportunity to fight for the Stanley Cup. It's going to be exciting. We'll continue to do coverage on that. We also are going to be having our friend Chris on hopefully next week to talk about the Flyers off-season plans and a few other things from there. A lot's been coming out from the media. Claude Drew's been talking a lot. So there's going to be a lot going on that we want to cover here. But coming up after this, what's going on with Boston? Are they really falling apart? Has Miami struck a nerve? We'll cover that and more after this.
We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewer's choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode.
There was yelling from the locker room last night. Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown got into it. Gordon Hayward had some virtually, I believe it was discussing with the team. We knew that Miami was a tricky team. They're a great coach team. They're clutch. I don't think Boston's won the series. I had them winning it, but they're derailed on every side right now. I've seen this story written too many times. Gavin, first of all, let's talk about the game. What's your takeaway from last night? Up 17 Boston was. The Heat come back, and then we'll get to the locker room issues.
Well, Zach, and I can't believe I have to say this, but Kendrick Perkins made a valid point. I know Kendrick Perkins are all people. He said it looks like they're playing a lot of selfish basketball offensively for the Celtics. Kemba Walker brings out his crossover, and he said it feels like Jason Tatum's like, all right, my turn to show you what I have. And he does this, and you got Jaylen Brown over here doing that. He may be right, he may be wrong. That's true. All right, they might be playing selfish basketball. That was a problem before, back when Kyrie Irving was there. But, Zach, he also said that the defense, they lost their defense identity. The Celtics are a really great defensive team. And the fact that the Celtics are having a hard time defensively, I find it hard to believe that this team is just getting beat by a team, by the Heat, and I'm going to say it, that don't have as much offensive power as the Celtics do. But all in all, I think the series, I don't want to say it's over, but I still do have the Heat winning.
I mean, I'm probably changing my opinion on this, but I mean, it was a great game. It's down 17. I'll read here the stats from the games in total. Boston 31 the first quarter, 29-17, then 24. Miami 28-19, 37-22. But Gavin, listen to this. Of all the starters last night, Jimmy Butler had the second lowest points in 36 minutes. That should concern you. He probably scores most of that in the fourth quarter. He lets the game come to him. And it's one of the best skills to have when you have a team that's developed like that. All right, you got Goran Dragic, who's been on a tear. Adebayo, 21-10. Crowder at 12, which is a good contributing piece. Duncan Robinson, 18. He found his groove again. Hero, 11. And Olynyk, 5. Derrick Jones Jr. did play a little bit. Is he out of the lineup? Has he been hurt? What's up with Derrick Jones?
He's been battling some injuries
That's what I
here.
thought, because usually he'll be starting otherwise, and you see Dragic in there and Crowder. So Iguodala 7 minutes, Kendrick Nunn 5 minutes, Tim 2. Kendrick Nunn and Derrick Jones Jr. I didn't realize that they really aren't playing right now. Are they both battling injury, or is Nunn having some issues?
I think Nunn is having issues, and Derrick Jones Jr. I remember earlier in the bubble he was battling one of those things where he I think they found a group without Derrick Jones Jr. So Eric Spoelstra didn't want to mess up what you have going right. Zach, you know that if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Definitely, I think that for this team, they probably figure with a great coach, you need to get the veterans in there and let them do their work, and we'll see what happens as it continues. They're having no problems right now. There's not much concern for Miami. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, there's no problem for Miami whatsoever. Look, Zach, I'm gonna be honest with you. When you look at this Heat team and you look at how they play, you look at and you're like, how the hell did they make it? And you talk about Jimmy Butler not having that much scoring, Zach. He had 3 clutch steals in clutch time. Ultimately, and all of them led into scores. He had the one where he saved it from going out of bounds, and Dragic gets the ball and flips it back to him for the dunk. You have the one where he steals it, and the Celtics player falls over, and he passes it to Jay Crowder, and then there's one more as well. But Zach, that's just great play on defense. That's all he has to do. He doesn't have to be the main scorer, and I think that's the best part. Like you said, Zach, the game comes to him, and you have a coach that lets it happen.
Without a doubt, and he's not getting in the way, but he's letting him do his job. So I got to ask you this final question here on this series, Gavin. What happened in that locker room last night? What are you hearing? What are your thoughts on it? And how is this going to affect the rest of the series and their play?
They say emotions, I say BS, and here's why. Zach, you're up 17 to a team that you shouldn't be losing to in the first place. You look at this team on paper, and you're like, Jimmy Butler, okay, Bam Adebayo, okay, Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero. No one else on this team you should be losing to. I'm be honest with you, Zach. And here's where it gets tricky. They say emotions. It's not true. They're frustrated with one another. Why? They're losing, and they don't know why. They're being out. I feel like they're being outplayed. I'm gonna just come out and say the Celtics are being outplayed, not outcoached. You could say maybe Zach. You can maybe say outcoached, but they're being outplayed, and it shows. Kemba Walker's having a horrible series. Okay, Jason Tatum, he's doing good. He had 30 some points one game. But Zach, at the end of the story, they're still losing. Why are they so losing? How do you know? Come and from his shots that much. He's been hitting his shots recently. Zach, did you get me? He hit his shots recently. So I can see Marcus Smart's frustration. But in a time like this, it's just a bad look on the whole team as a whole.
They've broken down. They've struck a nerve on them. It's over for this team. I think that for Boston, they might steal a game or two. They might be able to come back. It'd be nice too. But they got to figure it out. They got to get it together. So we'll continue covering that more as that goes into the weekend. But Gavin, tonight we get to see the Lake Show again. It's been a little while. Nuggets and Lakers are playing tonight. Coming off of a 7-game series, are they not tired at this point? 3-1. I mean, Jamal Murray had a few down games in that series before he got strong again. Is that going to be the trend continuing? What are your thoughts tonight? What are your predictions?
Well, first of all, this is going to be a great series. And why? Because you have a skilled center, all right? The Lakers haven't really gone against a point center. A point center, a guy that moves the ball and arguably doesn't really need to score for it to happen. He gets his points, however. He'll pass the ball. If he gets a triple-double, he's arguably the best center in the league some days. I know people like to say Joel Embiid. I know people like to say Nikola Jokic. I don't consider Anthony Davis a center. He's a power forward, in my opinion. Zach, this series has 7 games written all over it, and guard playing Jamal Murray, who's played out of his mind. It's like I was reading something yesterday that said teams have asked about trading Jamal Murray. They throw a lot of names, good names for Jamal Murray. and they declined them all. The reason why is he's showing you why. This Nuggets team, they're gonna push the Lakers to the test. I still think the Nuggets are they're the underdog, obviously, because they're not the first seed. I consider the Nuggets maybe the best team in this series. I say the Nuggets are 7, but they're not. But they're gonna be down 2-1.
I mean, who's the best big they've played so far? Anthony Davis and JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard maybe getting in there. I think that's going to cause some issues for Denver. But I think Jamal Murray needs to go off in this series in order for them to win. It won't be in Jokic. I think Jokic is going to struggle, and Murray and Gary Harris, even Michael Porter Jr., who's been talking a little bit off the court. I think that they all need to pull their weight and do their job and take the pressure off Jokic. Otherwise, this series could get ugly real quick. There's no one that's going to stop LeBron, in my opinion. Maybe Gary Harris can help out there with the size advantages too much.
80 versus Jokic. Zach, I heard the stat earlier. 80 versus Jokic. Jokic averages 16. 80 average 29. So it's in 80's favor. Not really much in Jokic's favor, but you're right, Zach. It's going to go down to Jamal Murray and the supporting cast for these guys. And the passing by Nikola Jokic is how it's going to work. He's going to have to pass the ball. You're going to have to move the ball around. Because
he scored a lot. Remember, he scored a lot in the past 2 series, and he's not going to be able to do that in this series. I can tell you that right now. But I will say
going to be more passer, yeah.
I do think the Nuggets win tonight, and then I think the Lakers win the next 4. So
no doubt, that's a trend. That's a trend that is.
And I think the Lakers in 5.
Well, okay, that's a little disrespectful. I think I'm gonna give the Nuggets a 6.
The Nuggets are a good team. No, the Nuggets would have to be in 7. The Nuggets are a good team. I don't want to sleep on them, but I think the Lakers are just a better team, and they've really hit their stride. And you can't stop them once they've hit their stride.
They hit their stride, that is true, but also as well, Zach, there's also been times where they look beatable. I think the competition they played, injured Damian Lillard after a little while.
The first 4 games he was healthy.
The first 4 games he was healthy, yes, he got the first game, but excuse me, but after that,
Rockets were healthy the whole series.
Rockets were healthy, but they were small. Yes, I did. Zach, it took the Rockets' best game of basketball to beat them one time, and they couldn't do it again after that.
And then once the Lakers went small, they couldn't compete. They went down to their level. I think they're gonna get big this series, which is what they do best, and they're gonna take over. But Nuggets are a really good team. I like the direction the Nuggets are going. This is no disrespect for them at all. It's more about how good the Lakers are. I'd love to see the Nuggets play in the NBA Finals. Nuggets versus whoever thought.
Would you be surprised to see Bol check into this game, into the series?
If they're getting blown out or if they're blowing out. No. The Nuggets are eyes on the prize. 2 bench players. Everyone's getting 45-plus minutes. Stop the king. Get Jokic involved. They're doing whatever. Malone and that entire team are going to do whatever they can to win this series.
Do you see why I say Bol? Because think about it. If the Lakers go back, they're going to go back to playing big basketball because they are. Okay, Paul Millsap, Nikola Jokic, they can go back to 80 and JaVale McGee. You put a guy like Bol in there and say, you know what, hey, just grab rebounds. Grab rebounds and play defense. I don't think that it's going to make it a little bit harder for people to drive in the lane. That's my honest thinking of.
Well, who do you have right now as your backup center? Yeah, what's his name?
It's Mason Plumlee.
Yeah, he's not a bad option either, but we'll see what happens.
Not a bad option. He's not the best option.
We'll see for sure. We'll see what happens with that. Again, I'm taking Nuggets tonight, but Lakers in 5. Gavin, do you have a team that you have winning tonight?
I have Lakers winning tonight.
All right, we'll see. Gavin, tides are starting to turn. How good the Lakers are, but Nuggets are a great team. They're total dogs. I will buy a Jamal Murray jersey if they win this series. I will say that it'll be a cheap one, but a $20 one. But I'm going to buy. I have a lot of respect for the Nuggets. If they beat the Lakers,
I must put this out here. Disclaimer: just because I picked the Lakers tonight, don't mean I'm on your team. All right, still Nuggets are 6, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, we'll see what happens. Coming after this, the Phillies. What is going on right now? After this.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking now about the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't know why we are, but it is part of the List of teams, the Phillies, issues upon issues upon issues. Let's start with the fact that Bryce Harper's been cold. Had 2 home runs last night. It was nice. Aaron Nola gave up 3 runs in the first inning. It was nice after that. Fine. You scored, 6 runs? I read a stat. I'm pretty sure they've been in the lead in almost every game that they've lost this year. That pitching staff is horrendous. They failed to address it. JT Realmuto is hurt. There's rumors that he's not even going to get re-signed after this year. Reese Hoskins is hurt and might be done for the year with surgery. Jake Arrieta is done for the year. Mickey Moniak came up last time. I don't even remember what he did. It was hard to pay attention with all the stuff going on. Alec Boehm continues to show promise. Phillies right now, but they play the Buffalo Blue Jays today in Buffalo. They are currently 24-25. They are a game and a half back of the Marlins, 4.5 back of the Braves, and a game and a half ahead of the Mets. So somehow they might find a way to get in the playoffs. I don't know how. The last 10 games, they're 3 of 7. They were 9-1 in the previous, I'm pretty sure. It's disgraceful right now watching this team because they're so inconsistent. They lose yesterday 10-6. It was 6-6 going into that inning. They lose 5-4. They win 4-1. They lose 6-2. I mean, it's bad pitching. Offense has been more consistent than it was last year, but the pitching is even worse this year. I'll be honest with you. I think it is. Gavin, what are your thoughts?
Zach, let me try to keep my composure here. All right, this team pisses me off. Today is a bad day. If you are a Phillies fan, this is the equivalent to being a Knicks fan. No hope. Every time there's some excitement, you get kicked in the stomach. You win a couple games and then they lose like the next 20. Zach, in a shortened season, this team continuously they just continues to keep kicking me. I cannot be excited. Zach, I cannot watch a Phillies game without getting mad. I cannot. I was watching with Matt yesterday over the PlayStation headset. Matt, the great, our third member, the great friend of the show. I was watching with him. 3 home runs. We hit back to back to back. That was lovely. Bryce Harper hits another one. All right. Mickey Moniak debut. Who cares? Aaron Nola gets pulled. Okay, I can see why. As I digress a little bit, the umping of we're not going to ignore that last night the umps were horrible. Home plate, especially. Some things were called balls. Some things were called strikes. Are you blind? I know you can't argue balls or strikes, but can we argue about your vision? Because you sure as hell can't see. Hey, I'd rather take a 3-year-old as an umpire than what that man behind the plate did yesterday.
It's one game. I'm not referring to how bad this team is, but rather it's about the fact that even though the umps were not the best, I think that it's the reality of the situation is your pitching is still atrocious. It's really bad. And I'm with you, Gavin. I mean, the umps were not good at all. But 10 runs are not all on the umpire. Brandon Workman has had the best batting average against him, meaning that it was the lowest last season. Ever since during the Phillies, they're the highest. I don't get it. We have one more topic here we got to touch on. We're going to talk about the Phillies more next week. We're hoping for some wins against the Blue Jays this weekend, but it's been nothing but disgraceful so far the past week.
Real quick, and then we'll move on. But Matt Klentak, John Milton, more like Matt Klentak. If you call this a bullpen, you are a disgrace, my friend. It's bad, Zach, that people, that the other teams are waiting to get to the bullpen. The Mets, the Mets on their Twitter yesterday say, "Hello, Phillies bullpen." They know. They just got to outlast the starters just to get to the bullpen. That's a problem.
It's an easy strategy to win, and it's a big problem. Gavin, Eagles, Rams, as if we haven't already had our emotions build up on this team. I mean, look, it was a bad week last week. We know that. We talked about this. They looked really good early. But I'm not going to have any optimism this week. I'm going to be honest. Miles Sanders is back, arguably a top 5 running back at the end of this year if he shows his potential. Lane Johnson most likely back. Probably one of the best, if not the best, at his position. And Carson Wentz struggles tremendously when Lane Johnson's not in. I mean, there's not much to hang your head on. I think that there's potential. I think that Doug Peterson better be smart this week. I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams by a score of 24-20. I think that the offense starts slow and then picks up, and it's just too little too late, and they can't stop the Rams late. But I think it does show more promise. I think Carson protects the ball this week. I think he has a good week, but you play the Bengals and the Steelers. It's not – you got a rough stretch coming up. You better win this game. I don't think they're winning it. They're going to start the year 0-2. It's going to be a rough year. I'm talking about 8-8, 9-7 at best if they can take advantage of some of the easier games later on, which you didn't against a football team. Should be the Red Tails, by the way. I'm a big fan of that name. But in reality here, Gavin, we'll see what happens. If Miles Sanders gets 100 rush yards and Lane Johnson plays, Eagles win. I'll say that right now. If Miles Sanders gets more than 100 yards, the Eagles win. Otherwise, they don't. 100 total yards, I'd say, from scrimmage, not just rush.
Zach, I like your honesty because that's the honest truth. You're not wrong. The Rams could win this game. The Rams are the better team right now, defensively. Offensively, I'm not a big fan of Jared Goff, but they got their guys. All right, they're healthy offensively. I'm gonna side with the Eagles on this one though. The reason why is you name Miles Sanders is back, Lane Johnson is back. That gives you somewhat hope that Doug maybe runs the ball. Remember, you didn't have Brandon Brooks goes down last year as well. Jason Peters is older, I know. Aaron Donald's is throwing Cowboys plays over like they're little boys. Like they're not grown men, they're just throwing them. But I'm gonna side with the Eagles. I think offense starts off hot. And I think they continue to stay hot. But I think it's going to be the defense that might struggle a little bit this week. No Brandon Graham, right? And
He is out of the concussion protocol. He should play. Derek Barnett will play.
Okay. Well, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Ultimately, Eagles come out of it, but Carson Wentz will get sacked 5 times. Aaron Donald will have 3 of those. I'm gonna go with because that's how Aaron Donald is. I'm gonna go with 27-24 Eagles.
All right, I'm going 24-20 Rams. You're going 27-24. We're hoping that they can win this. I am going to do now. We're doing a new segment where I will pick a random team just based on wherever my mouse lands, and we're going to predict that game. I've just figured it'd be a fun idea to do it, and then we'll wrap up today's show, go into the weekend, and we'll be ready for next week. So I'm going to pull up here the Week 2 schedule here in the NFL. What team is it? Eyes are closed, and it is the Titans and Vikings. That's next week. Hold on, I messed that up. There we go. And we have the Jaguars and Titans. There's the phone.
Jaguars, Titans, back-to-back, 2 times for the phones. Give me the Titans.
Going with the Titans.
Yeah, I'm with Titans, yeah.
Going with the Titans, I'll go with the Jaguars. I think Gardner Minshew is going to have another great week. They're going to capitalize. I think the run game is going to be fine. And then they'll go from there. So I'm going to take Jaguars 2-0, and they're not going to be tanking this year. They're done with the tanking. They don't want to tank. They want to go off. They want to win. So, Gavin, that wraps up this edition. We got big game on Sunday night, Seahawks and the Patriots. We got Cam Newton going out with his team. Bill Belichick arguably thinks that Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the league. We will continue to cover all that and more. We're trying to get at least 2-hour shows in next week, 2 1-hour shows, that is. I know this week we mostly had half-hour shows. But next week we're going to try to get in some more time, get some guests on as well, discuss possibly with analytics and a whole lot more. We've got some exciting guests coming up. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here on this week's edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show, and we'll see you all Monday.
Have a good one, everybody.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos. Again, thanks for watching,